Desk real quick and just test this and bring my laptop over.
So we do that and then go that way. I get one clothes like when will you be there? I'm sorry for what? I tell you, yes, it was really, it was great. Yeah, so she was here. Yeah, she was here on Friday from about 9 to 9. And then on Saturday she came to the early childhood and open. Yeah, so it's really nice. We loved her. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. Why everybody? Yeah, that's good. Yeah. They both say, I haven't tried to write it, but I think it's very kind of laid back, kind of person. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Now they won't have any kids at home, so they're leaving their options open. They will sit downtown and treat them. I don't know where that might go. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's all and then they're going to track yes, today. I'll be there with you guys. So if we transition that's a lot of work. He was thinking that if you ordered it earlier, they would come No, not necessarily. I replace the order so I can watch see what happens. I'm just saying, yeah, very funny.
Okay.
So,
And we are live streaming.
oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
I'm like, it's starting to fill up, which is good.
Miss you yesterday.
I missed you before. We'll be there for the inner squad meet.
Okay.
Yes, I'll be there timing. This is like my 1 year off from high school swimming.
Oh.
So, is Amy playing basketball?
She is. Yeah.
Does your older daughter play basketball?
No, not anymore.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but middle school doesn't start for a few weeks.
Right. Yeah. I think right before Thanksgiving.
And they practice right after school?
Yes.
Oh, that's
So it's
good.
not bad.
Yeah,
Right.
but high school,
A lot.
that's what's hard. Yeah. So.
How are you? Okay, how are you? We're live streaming. That's right.
And are we currently live streaming?
Yes.
Very nice.
Your hair looks nice. Hi, how are you?
I also want to see, I think if I log into Stream Spot, I can see how many people are viewing it too, which is, it would be nice to see if, hopefully people do.
They didn't want flash at the concert that night, and I had the shutter speed way too slow. All the pictures were kind of blurry.
I used a few on the floor that I thought were, like the aerial ones were really nice.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And then Shelly took a bunch of pictures too, but she's gonna send. Not at the, I'm not at the concert, unfortunately. How long is this meeting?
I don't know. 45 minutes. I'm gonna go over and take pictures of them when they go.
Oh, okay. When do they?
From Switzerland. No.
Everyone, I think we'll get started, and thank you so much for coming out on this rainy morning. You will not be disappointed. My name is Joan Mullen. I'm serving as co-president of HBPA this year, along with Amy Cassio. And before I turn the meeting over to Scott Parsons and our HB Young Writers and Artists, I'd just like to make a few announcements. The HBPA has presented several community events so far this year. The Light the Night Picnic was a huge success, drawing over 600 people to campus on a beautiful September evening. Everyone enjoyed some great music provided by the HB singers, good food, meeting the Blazer athletes, flashlight giveaway, but most of all, free ice cream. And thanks to everyone who supported this event. Especially our event organizers, Nicole Chavette, Catherine Herrick Levy, Beth Ann Nevis, and Missy Butler. Dads and Donuts, a special HB tradition, took place 2 weeks ago. Our girls enjoyed breakfast treats with their dads before the school day began. And thank you goes to Jennifer and Rob Hartford, who organized this special breakfast. And the HBPA, in partnership with the University School Parent Association, sponsored Brian Matters last month, an honest discussion about the dangers of drinking and driving last month. Brian and Cindy Hoflinger spoke with HB upper school girls as well as parents for this informative discussion. The HBPA Executive Committee has awarded several grants so far this year to various divisions and departments within the school. We contributed $20,000 to the turf field right behind us, $6,700 to the middle and upper school orchestra for 55 new chairs for the orchestra room. Linda Simonides, the upper school and middle school orchestra director, was so pleased. $4,760 to HB Athletics for 2 new water fountains, which will allow our students and athletes to easily refill their reusable water bottles, and they should be installed shortly. $2,500 to the Brian Matters Foundation, $8,000 towards the purchase of 6 tables and 36 chairs for the atrium. This removable seating provides space for students near the dining room for studying, lunch, meetings, and classroom breakout spaces. And Sue Sadler is working with a freshman class, and the girls are researching and design and cost. And this grant came out of when the Learning Commons was being renovated. They set up some temporary tables in the atrium, and they found that the girls really enjoyed working there during the hot August and September days. Some primary school classes would come down and use the tables, so this is something really exciting that we're happy to help with. $600 was awarded to GROW, Girls Reaching Others Worldwide Foundation, to help strengthen the partnership GROW has with Sisterhood, an after-school program for adolescent at-risk girls from grades 5 through 12. And these funds will support the cost of various leadership and wellness programs. Thank you to the Brown Bag parent volunteers and patrons whose support and dedication allows the HBPA to fund these great projects. And we have some very exciting events coming up, so please just take note, mark your calendars. You're going to be getting some more information by email and soon. The Heritage Festival, the HBPA sponsors this event annually. It's Friday, January 29th in the dining room. Dawn Ellis and Karima Williams are the co-chairs this year. And Dawn is actually here to say a few words about the event and to also invite us all to come.
Sorry,
There you are.
I'll try not to cough. Yeah, it's January 29th of 2016, and we're hoping just everybody come, and while you're visiting relatives over the holidays, we hope you think about a dish that's traditional for your family, and maybe come back and share it with us for the whole family. Bring the little ones, bring whoever you'd like from 5:30 to 7:30, and we hope to see you all there. Thanks.
And you'll probably have some type of musical entertainment, is that correct?
We should, but we don't have a band
No.
booked yet.
Okay, all right.
But the invitations will be coming out by the end of this month. So when you get it, put it on your refrigerator.
Our next general membership meeting is going to be Tuesday, February 2nd at 7 p.m. This meeting begins with a tour of HB's new Idea Lab, which stands for Innovation, Design, Engineering, and Art. Leah Ridgway Jackson, an HB class of 99, returned to HB as director of the Idea Lab this year. She will give parents a tour of this new space where students are inspired to create using the latest software, hardware, and fabrication tools. From there, the meeting will move to the new Learning Commons, where parents can enjoy some food, purchase a cappuccino and latte from the Hat Coffee Bar, and participate in the book discussions anyone's love, New and Selected Poems by Billy Collins. Scott Parsons will lead the book club and promises to be an enjoyable evening. The book is available for purchase, hardcover, $26, and paperback in the brown bag. So I hope after this meeting today, you'll just go around the corner of the brown bag and purchase the book. And then in April, we are hosting a Time to Remember, a celebration in honor of Bill Christ. This program will begin at 6 p.m. With a presentation by Billy Collins and a reception at 7 o'clock. This is HBPA's celebration to honor our head of school, Bill Christ. Billy Collins, the American poet and former poet laureate of the U.S., will address parents that night. All parents are welcome to come and enjoy his presentation and also honor Bill. Billy will address the upper school girls during his visit here to HB, and also work with a small group of girls during the day. And before you leave, we have a save the date postcard with information about our February membership meeting and a Time to Remember, our celebration in honor of Bill Christ. So take one home, put it in your refrigerator, your bulletin board, and we hope you can join us. At this time, I just want to welcome and thank Scott Parsons for attending today's meeting. Scott is the director of the Osborne Writing Center, upper school English teacher, and William McKinley and Jessie M. Osborne chair for the Writing Center. Today, Scott will share some highlights from the recent Young Writers and Artists Festival, a workshop which introduces HB students and other students from Northeast Ohio to professional writers and artists. This annual event took place here on campus about a week and a half ago, and Scott will also introduce us to some of HB's very own writers and artists. So thank you, and
I just want to give you a quick sort of background and overview of this program, and then quickly get to the stars over here. So the Writers Festival began 4 years ago, where we had 4 workshops, and it was attended by about 42 students, and then that has steadily grown year by year until just a couple weeks ago, we had 12 workshops with 135 girls involved in the upper school, which is terrific, because that was a day when they could have been home resting or relaxing. There were no classes that day, so if that many people are coming, there's some good energy there. We also had a middle school version that same week, and if you add that in, we had over 200 students participating in 15 workshops from, I think, 9 different schools. Most of the girls were from HB, and we could mix in some other students. We also attained a new, I think this is like a new level of legitimacy. T-shirts. This is especially cool because this was the logo on the front and the back, designed by Brady Furlich, who was a senior last year and loved taking part in that year by year, so it's cool to see that. I will share with you, just because this is such a good sense of how it goes, some feedback from the people who led these workshops. So from David Gippols, he wrote and said, "Thanks as always for an amazing couple of days. I know how much work this is and can't get over how well organized everything is and how transcendent the results are. I was buzzing all day yesterday with the energy of the workshops, retelling stories to Gina and my daughter, give my best to the girls and tell them I'm proud of their work." I'm honored to be part of such a company of teachers and for the privilege of working with the girls. And then another here from Alexander Fuller. I just love the girls this year more than ever. Not that the classes aren't always wonderful and the students amazing, but this year there was a new level of readiness, maturity, gravitas, willingness beyond my expectations. Not only did the girls stand courageously behind the words they made, they also had the courage and faith in each other to sit utterly still behind what must have felt like an impossibly long silence on stage. That's what courage looks like in a short time. It looks like doing something a little bit differently. It looks like owning the space you are entitled to. It looks like knowing that your sisterhood is powerfully intact and that you will not open to find yourself alone on an empty stage. It looks like not caring very much about the judgment of the people in front of you, knowing that you are being true to something deeper. And I love, a student in her workshop had this to say, a junior, she said, "This was such an important experience, not because I am a writer, but because I believe in women, and most importantly, I believe in myself," which I think is a perfect articulation of what we're going for. The people who lead these workshops are people who travel the world, the country, do residencies all over, and they have never seen anything like these girls. As Naomi Shihai is one of the most esteemed and decorated poets in the country. She's done residencies globally, all over the place. And she found me at the lunch break and said, "You know, you do workshops like this, and there's always a conversation you want to get to at the end of it, but you never quite get there. And we got there before lunch. And they're just like plowing right ahead." I feel like I've gotten this massive transfusion of energy. I've never experienced anything like it. And it's true for me. I know this is the most profound experience I've ever had the chance to be a part of in 20 years of teaching. I feel like it's the thing I've always been working towards, but it's only here that it was ever possible. I'm thankful to, it keeps growing year by year, and HBPA has funded this through grants a couple different years. They were responsible for helping to bring Sarah Kay here for the first time, and she's just been a terrific inspiration to the girls. The whole idea behind the Writing Center is that we're working on authentic voice and an expanding sense of community, and I like thinking these photos, you can get a sense of the energy and also the degree of trust that takes place in these workshops. Naomi, this is perfect too. She inscribed a book while she was here. "Thanks for having me. Love and gratitude to Scott Parsons and his big, big family," which I think is really what it feels like. I know every day when you walk into the building, at least if you're me, it's like you walk into a big, energetic, loving embrace. I think when you have an environment like that, you have a space that is entirely safe to take risks and just go for it. These girls, so they're about to march up here and do their thing. But if I think about my teenage self standing in front of a room of adults without any rehearsal or preparation like they're about to do, not a chance. This is a stretch enough for me to do it as an adult, but an HB girl, probably one of the most distinguishing characteristics is you don't believe in limitations and you don't believe in holding back. So I will turn it over to them.
I've done the Writers' Festival for the past 4 years and wanted to just say a little bit about how it's impacted me. So last year when I was on spring break, I was visiting colleges out on the West Coast, and Eliza Fisher, she's a senior agent at the Stephen Barclay Agency, called me up and asked me to come out to dinner with her, invited my dad and me both out to dinner, and she brought a picnic for a drive down the coast the next day, and we got to spend time with her. And she's one of the people that made it possible for us to have Marjan Satrapi and Naomi Shihai and Alexandra Fuller and all these incredible people. And I made that connection because I was able to talk with her the year before about her service in the prisons and spent a whole period just talking with her. And that's only possible because of the Writers' Festival. So I've worked with David Giffords, Naomi Shihai, Sarah Kay, Alexandra Fuller, and every single one of those workshops has both put me in the most comfortable place and the most uncomfortable place. I've been able to go out on a medium strip out there by Ben & Jerry's and meditate with Alexandra Fuller in front of all the cars and everything. And I've also been able to work on my presentation on stages with Sarah Kay when I have probably the most terrifying case of stage fright. Maybe second tiers, but and so as I go forth and look at colleges, I am looking for the right I'm looking for the Writers' Festival. I'm looking for these things that I've had the chance to do at HB that I did not think was even possible on this planet. And I'm truly so incredibly grateful for the chance to take those risks with these amazing people that totally changed my life. I mean, they come back and they know our names, and that's completely unheard of. And then they ask about the colleges we're looking at, and they ask about the sports that we play, and they're so invested in our own growth, and the fact that we can get them to come back year after year is so incredible. And it's been a completely life-changing ride for me, so thank you for all that you guys do to help make that possible.
If I were sky literate, I would have read gospel right out from God's twilight mouth, and it would burn holes in my eyes and spill tears of joy. But instead, I walk amongst the beautiful people disguised as devils, because my eyes were clouded and ears deaf to salivated raindrops, knees to church floor, hands pressed, amen, amen, hallelujah, amen. Back when my glacial world was my lifeguard, and we trekked through snow arduously, but days recklessly. Back when hot tea and mismatched mugs thawed hands, noses, and frozen hearts, and the sun rose between my toes, and we lent each other our soles and pilled wool socks. The heat finally reached me, and I breathed again. A snowman melted, a real woman learned to love. So I wrote it down in the wood furnace, and when it burned to cinders, I buried it in the ground. Maybe it will surface again in a frost heave. But like our frostbitten toes, my frostbitten heart will shed its skin to illuminate living cells. Like the snow that piled up to our thighs, I will radiate our gasping life.
This is untitled. Restless figure stands transfixed before a silver pane, examining white-threaded hair, dim, clouded eyes, rivers and borders mapped across her face and throat. Turning her head this way and then the other, she strains to see the image beyond the looking glass. Snowbird perched on window's edge, precariously on the brink of freedom, sharpest white against an ebony frame. Once upon a time, the queen marveled at the same forest, distant fog-embraced mountains. Now she reaches out to grasp the watery reflection, tempted to shatter her cage. But she knows better. Shards reflect both light and dark.
I apologize, I'm a little under the weather. This is also untitled. Before you dream of me tonight, first you must know that my words flow like a mercury river, but I'd build a dam if I could hear you talk forever. I've never been an affectionate person, but I wouldn't mind if you held my hand. You should know that I don't remember living with my dad and that some of these lights are off. Yet through the darkness, I try still to remember the sun. And when your eyes widen with excitement and passion, I wonder how I could ever resign to oblivion. I wish I could forget the concept of perfection, but you remind me of it every day. Sitting in this car with you as my navigator, I'm headed in the right direction. So before you go to sleep tonight, you must know that my heart smolders sincerity and November is fleeting. I fear that time will set on you too, and I'll be left alone in the cold, dark shadow of the moon.
Instructions. Slam the door as if it wasn't made of glass. The door can be repaired. The human soul cannot. Scream as loud as if nobody was to hear you. If they do, they'll understand. Run in a hallway as if there was a chase behind you. You're fast. You'll reach the finish first. Crash the party as if it was your last win. Forget about the day. The night is all for you. Look for the flowers as if it was in winter. Sometimes the crocuses grow under snow. Jump into the abyss as if you couldn't fall. You have the wings. Believe that you can fly. Kiss the rise of the sun as if they were your friends. Beware of the moon is only a reflection. Smile as if the smile was you. Just try.
When most people hear the word Oreo, they may think of a delicious cookie with a hard brown outside and a sweet, sugary inside. To me, it brings back painful memories of being alone as the white sheep in this dark flock, because I spoke in a way that was not black enough for my elementary school. And even when I was dunked into the glass of milk that was my high school, my personality did not match what they believed I should taste like. But you know what? If being an Oreo means that I'm proud of myself, my studies, and my histories, then I'll say it out loud. I'm an Oreo, and I'm proud. Who wouldn't want to be an Oreo anyway? I'm a delicious cookie with a hard brown outside and a sweet, sugary inside, who is extra special because I was made with brown sugar, cinnamon spice, and that makes me all the more nice.
Everything is going to turn out okay. I know this. And yet, I can taste the blood on the inside of my lip from where I've bitten it so much that I've created an open wound. My wide-eyed and wobbling worries peep up from their hole as if to remind me they're there. As if I didn't know. Stress nibbles away at my brain like my teeth did to my inner cheek. The college process. Lurking beneath the oceanic depths of my mind, omnipresent and often surfacing enough to swallow me whole in its great jaws. I swim and I swim and I swim, but I cannot escape. It grabs my foot between its jaws and pulls me down to the part of my brain that doesn't trust itself. I can see the cursor hovering above the review and submit button, and I can hear the click of the mouse pad that opens an email titled, "Your admissions decision." And I keep sinking farther and farther like I'm stuck in quicksand. It consumes me as I resist and I fight, and then I stop. I stop fighting myself. I stop thinking about the sour candy that gets more sour the more you suck on it. Sour, sweet, gone. But I'm stuck on step one. I stop thinking about the way it feels to run too fast and stub your toe on the table, or to run too slow and miss the flight. I relax, and it spits me back out. I land on my stomach with my face in the grass. I can smell the freshness of day, and I can feel the dew moisten my skin. And I feel the bump in my mouth where the wound used to be, but it hurts much less now. Everything is going to turn out okay.
Okay, so this is not a poem, this is actually a short essay, and it's a true story. I always have to one-up everyone. Well, at least in the gift-giving world. My parents say that I was generally anti-competitive to the point of concern as a child. But when it comes to giving gifts, it's like a second job. Amy is one of my best friends, if not my best friend. She's gorgeous, athletic, and just enough crazy to keep her interesting. She always has my back, and I couldn't think of a better way to repay her that summer for all she'd done for me than with a killer 18th birthday gift. When I came up with the idea for the gift months before her party, I immediately thought I'd knocked it out of the park. It was big, with a price tag to match, personal, and something she could put on display. Essentially, the massive collage of her teenage years was what I thought a good gift was supposed to look like. At her party that June night, it was the best gift given. I'm not saying this because I gave it, I'm saying this because it's true. When she tore through the Disney Princess wrapping paper and looked up at me, it was the closest I'd ever come to seeing Amy cry. She had the biggest smile on her face and dragged me into the tightest hug I'd ever known. In that moment, I felt accomplished as her friend and thought I'd been able to make a time in her life tangible through the perfect selection of photographs. We should probably talk about Jared. He was Amy's boyfriend and undoubtedly one of the most beautiful humans to ever walk this earth. They were both pretty people with even better personalities, and if you put them together in the same room, they made you feel all warm and fuzzy, like you were lying under this hot summer sun. You could say I spent enough time with them that summer that I'd been burned for the first time in my life. It was inevitable put an entire row, possibly two, of Amy's pictures with him on a poster. But at the time, Jared felt like a permanent addition to Amy's life. She hung it proudly in her room for a solid 6 months. There wasn't much artwork in there to begin with, but the framed poster was always the first thing that caught my eye. It was a reminder that I had given her something she loved, something she was proud of. Amy broke up with Jared in October. Ask anyone what it was like, and they'll probably tell you it was a pretty standard breakup. But to me, and probably only me, it felt like a nuclear explosion. You could say it threw me for a loop, or you could say it temporarily ruined my life. I was more upset than the both of them, and I had to learn how to be a good friend to Amy in the post-Jared phase. I realized I didn't really know her without him, and there was nothing more bittersweet than relearning who Amy was. I felt ashamed of only seeing her as half of a good relationship. So when she took down the poster, I thought I deserved it, but nothing could emotionally prepare me for what happened next. We were getting ready for some big social event on a Friday night. I was lounging on Amy's bed in her newly redecorated room, and Amy was off taking a shower. As my eyes absentmindedly scanned the room, I landed on a frame behind the door. There hung the collage in all of its glory, with Post-it notes over Jared's face. Post-it notes. I paid $150 for a tribute to her teen years, to her friendships, to a happy time in her life, and she put Post-it notes over Jared's face. At first, I couldn't breathe, out of shock, but the moment my exhale passed my lips, I was furious. I whipped around and punched her pillow like Floyd Mayweather with $1 million on the line. Maybe I was mad at her, maybe I was mad at myself, or maybe I was mad at the world for slowly changing our lives. It was like one day the leaves are all green and healthy, but before you know it, they're red and exploding off the trees like a million little breakups with Jared. Life changes all the time, with people growing apart and friendships being made and broken, yet we never see the changes as they happen. I never asked Amy about the Post-it notes. I don't know why she decided to put the picture back up in the first place, but seeing it like that made me feel even more guilty than when she took it down. Maybe she put it back up to not make me feel bad, or maybe there was just a space on the wall that had to be filled. Either way, that poster is no longer a gift. If the past hurts that much to look at, then maybe it's not ready to be revisited. I love the feeling of looking at happier times, but melancholy isn't for everyone. Jared was a growing pain, and I don't want Amy to keep a sad part of her life on display just because I got a gift wrong. That row of Jared was inevitable, but so were the changes. I'm always going to love Amy, regardless of how hot her latest boyfriend is, or if she even has one at all. But I'm also going to love those moments where we were all happy that summer. I may not have given the greatest gift of all time, aka it was a ticking time bomb. What was I thinking? But now I know that I possess the best gift of all. I can look at the past with a smile on my face, even when the Post-it notes are gone, and I hope someday Amy can too.
This is called I Can Breathe. The world is an ocean, overflowing with vibrant creatures that vary in color and capabilities, hands and hearts dripping with insecurities, treading against the current of shattered dreams and broken souls, striving to just stay afloat. But I am drowning in the fear of not being good enough. My lungs are shackled by the prison of my mind. My eyes burn with the salt of a love I can no longer find. I am blind, numb. But I am not done, because every thump of my beating heart is a place I have not been and a person I have not met. So I will open my eyes and my lungs will break free and I will keep swimming.
Mine is a short story. There you go. It's called Hide and Seek Light. Chelsea had picked a really good spot. She was hiding between a dark juniper bush and the fence that encompassed the park where Tanner's birthday party was taking place. She squeezed her chubby thighs together, hoping to reduce her hulkish frame. She was determined that the other kids would not find her. Chelsea will be easy to find because she's fat, Tanner said matter-of-factly before beginning the count. He wasn't being rude, just factual. It had only hurt Chelsea a little. She shifted, annoyed by the juniper leaves that surrounded her, seeming like Tanner's words. Her stomach growled. Her mother had not let her have cake. Chelsea had reached eagerly for a piece along with the rest of the children, only for her mother to tap her wrist with her thick, hard nails and shake her head with self-avowed matronly piety. The doctor had said it was fine for a 9-year-old like Chelsea to be a little chubby, and that she would slim out once she reached puberty.
However, there was no stopping Chelsea's mom when she had gotten her hands on a parental magazine extolling the virtues of the new, trendy, mommy-daughter diets. To her credit, she hadn't eaten any cake either. Chelsea sat for what felt like decades on the moldering, smelly wood chips that playground architects seemed to believe children love playing on. She did not know how long a decade was, but based on the way her 4 brothers used the word, it must mean at least several hours. At one point, Chelsea thought she had fallen asleep, but upon waking and finding herself in the same position, she figured she had imagined it. Another couple decades passed. Chelsea was now bored. She decided she hated hide and seek. All you do is sit and be quiet, hoping no one will notice you, like adults do, she thought miserably. What a stupid game. She began to crawl through a thick tunnel of spiny juniper, not caring whether she was found anymore. She emerged covered in bloody scratches and purple berry juice. She looked down at her arms where the blood and the berry juice mixed to form violet. Purple is my favorite color, she thought, pleased. She got up from her knees and surveyed the park. The picnic table where the cake had been was empty, except for a few leftover napkins. The playground was completely deserted, save a singular hobo snoozing on one of the benches. Everyone left, Chelsea thought, annoyed. This wasn't the first time this had happened. Chelsea had 4 brothers, and it was only reasonable that her mother couldn't always keep track of all 5 of her wayward children. A breeze picked up, and the stray napkins tumbled through the empty expanses of wood chips. In the back of Chelsea's head, a suspenseful banjo played an old tune from a spaghetti western her father had once forced her to watch with him. It's a ghost town, she thought, and grinned. And I'm the sheriff. Smugly, Chelsea unfolded the $5 bill she had stolen from her oldest brother in the car on the way to the party. Triumphant, she waddled off to the ice cream shop she knew was just down the road. She was going to get a triple fudge sundae.
This is a creative nonfiction piece, meaning it's based on a true story. It's called Gaming, Gift Giving, and Going Ham. It was the autumn of 8th grade, and I was about to jump face first into the most intense social responsibility known to awkward tweens, selecting the perfect birthday gift for my friend Timothy. I expect that for normal, well-adjusted people, this was not the Herculean task I was making it out to be. Timothy was not a particularly hard person to shop for. He's not picky or snobbish or ungrateful. He's a nerd, which opens up the door to a wide variety of gifts as well. And he also likes video games. I mean, he really likes video games. You can name any popular game, and I guarantee he's either played it or tried to pirate it. Anything from Portal to Dota 2 to Call of Duty is no match for his might. He'll spring random video game slang like noob, GG, and get wrecked during casual conversation. On Halloween, he dressed up as Link from Legend of Zelda, and he can play Super Smash Bros. Brawl like nobody's business. One time at his Science Olympiad tournament, if you don't know what that is, it's basically a competition to see which school can effectively out-nerd each other. There's a Smash Brothers tournament for anyone from 6th to 12th grade as a way to pass the time before the award ceremony started. As a measly 6th grader, Timothy was able to crush the competition and win his section. Keep in mind that Science Olympiad is basically 100% Mega Geeks. So now I was faced with a predicament. It was absolutely certain that a video game-themed gift would be perfect, personalized, and useful. However, I was absolutely, positively, completely certain that everyone else going to the party knew this too. And I was also absolutely, positively, completely, 100, totally, unanimously, entirely, wholly certain that everyone else was going to give him a video game too. And that would be disastrous. What kind of message would it send to Timothy if everyone gave him the same type of present? I had a feeling he would be slightly disappointed in all of us. He had all these friends, and the only thing we could think of was video games. Additionally, it would be even worse if I accidentally mimicked the gift, because I just knew that Timothy would passive-aggressively hate me for being that kid who lacked the originality and empathy to figure out how to give him a proper present. But if I tried to opt out of the entire fiasco and just give him money, it would be immediately apparent that I didn't care about friendship as much as I cared about the cake at the party, which isn't true, I swear. It was at this moment that I went slightly obsessive. Desperate to find the perfect balance between personalized and unique, I parachuted directly into the jungle of Amazon.com. For weeks, I trained my Google Fu in the Chrome temple, repeatedly searching and tagging and filtering millions of results. I even dared to venture into more exotic territory like, dude, I want that, and this is why I'm broke.com. After cutting down swaths of possible ideas, I finally settled on a gift, a simple remote control helicopter. I thought it was perfect, but then again, I was, am a slightly deranged adolescent whose rational reasoning skills haven't completely developed yet, so take that how you will. The helicopter was small and unobtrusive, but still constructed with grace and style. The polished aluminum frame intersected with stylish blue plastic to complete a slim and defined form. Directed by a handset reminiscent of old game console controllers, the helicopter had the quality of a video game with a twist. I wrapped it in green and blue striped wrapping paper and tied the package with a shiny silver ribbon. To finish off the gift, I wrote a personalized card with a hand-drawn cartoon of Timothy as Toon Link, shouting four Pootis and charging victoriously into battle. Basically, it was, as Timothy would say, utter pottage. Victoriously, I stowed my gift away safely until the day of the party. It wasn't long before the date rolled by. At that point, my anticipation had grown to the point where, instead of just feeling like bursting, I had formed a Class G star of excitement on the Hertzsprung-Russell diagram that had shed off its outer layers in a planetary nebula and was now a white dwarf sifting off the mass of a larger star until reaching the Chandrasekhar limit to explode in Class 1A supernova. I carefully guarded my package during the car ride to Timothy's house. At that point, I had depended so much on the gift that I might have even sacrificed my own life in an auto accident if it meant getting Timothy's present out on the street. When I finally arrived at the destination, thankfully without any flashy heroic sacrifice with a slightly embarrassing obituary, I hoisted the covered helicopter above my head like the Ark of the Covenant and marched up the driveway. By the time I made it to the front door, Timothy's smiling mother had already spotted my grandiose arrival and opened the door, gesturing me inside. Entering my final destination, I scanned my surroundings to deduce the location where I deployed my supply drop. I quickly spotted a gift basket filled with confetti and stuffed with multicolored envelopes. Took a moment to process this, and when my mind had caught up, I was horrified. Envelopes could only contain two things: gift cards or money. I was absolutely disgusted. These people have no shame. Timothy was their friend. Someone they'd known for years. How could they have possibly messed this up? Out of almost a dozen people, was I the only one that braved the social terrors of gift giving to obtain anything significant? Indignantly, I set the package on the table, a monument to friendship among a barren landscape of materialism. As it stood there alone, monolith among fragile scraps of paper and plastic, I briefly wondered who was actually right.
Oh, I have a poem. It's called Darrow, which is the name of a major street where I live. Yeah, it was there too for inspiration. Fallen leaves are tripping hazards. Failing to notice the outspoken spectrum of orange, yellow, and red warnings will deliver you face first into the strained, frosted earth, and your red wind-blushed cheek will blanket the cheek of a lucky red wind-blown leaf. And for once, since the nostalgic summer and the last of its dirt-dune life, it will feel unmistakable warmth.
This is a poem about my summer camp. Silver curl kissing silver circle, cobblestone streets. I told them I loved elephants, and they drew them on letters home. The washed glasses fogged as we stacked 4 different cup styles: reverse hourglass, whiskey, chocolate milk, and military straight. We laid on rugs and drew in sand and mud. We danced in circles, and then 2 Swedish lakes chew the sun and swallow the sky. He asked for cigarettes on the beach, and we sat adjacent to train tracks. Candle wax goodbyes to melt in overhead compartments. I came in, said hello to the back room, and added it to my hand. I should tattoo it or staple it on. There's nothing temporary about itchy eyes from wildflowers and curled wood chips on fire.
This is untitled. Before you dream of me tonight, you must know that I have stayed up to wonder about you. Before you run through untouched snow, to leave your breath hot on my windows, you must know the book I'm reading is upside down, and the story in my head is about you. Before you suck on frozen fingers and pull the cold through veins like straws, before your teeth come down on each other again and again, You must know. If you knocked, I'd let you in.
This poem's called Arno. It's about a river in Italy. The lazy Champagne River flowed deep through the heart of the city, romancing every bridge's cobblestone belly. The river giggled against the sun for a little while, basking in the virgin touch of mid-morning heat. The river, with her impatient mouth, ate all the pastries that morning, took a child's flute and played her favorite lullaby, all while flirting with the mountains protruding in the sapphire sky. The river showed a lot of skin that night, let a handsome man sing her off to sleep, and washed him off before he could offer her coffee, left him damp with the memory of a starry night. The river flowed through the heart of the city, and as the baker opened his shop window, she picked out a cake to send to her mother, smiled with her teeth, and hummed all the way home.
The first time I saw it, I lost my breath, like how I do after 18 hours in the car on the way to Maine and the salty air first comes crashing over me like the waves on the beach not 100 feet away. But right now, I'm not on an island in Maine. I'm in Berkshire, Vermont, searching for my breath like I search for sea glass in the sand among people that I don't really know after only 3 days, but will soon become very close partners in crime. People who will let me open myself up so they can see what's in my brain, what runs through my veins, what pulls at my heartstrings, what makes me sing. But as I stare at the vast immenseness before me, I can't help but struggle to take it all in. My eyes darting from peak to peak, each summit competing with its neighbor like my sister and I did when we were little on the playground. Who can pierce the sky first? My senses are on overload, like when I first walk into Tommy's and hear plates clanking and people laughing and the milkshake machine whirring, but my eyes settle for lazily gazing across the horizon. My pupils trace the peaks like kindergartners trace the continents. The mountains turn blue as they fade farther and farther away. The first time I saw it, it stole my breath, refusing to return it to me until I admired its beauty, even though it knew I would anyway. I'm a worrier, but here I can't help but let my mind drift, my insecurities fading away like the blue mountains in the distance. Like that lone piece of sea glass that escapes your grip on the way back from the beach. When I returned home from Vermont, a piece of myself stayed behind.
This is a poem about leaving for college next year. This time, leaving doesn't mean back in 5 days. It doesn't mean one large carry-on, be back soon, or I'll clean my room when I get home. No. This time, it means leaving and separating, losing and goodbye. It looks like the remnants of what once was my closet converted into storage space. Like my mother's thin face standing in the rain, engrossed by a too large pair of sunglasses she wears to hide her tears. It sounds like the thump-thump, thump-thump of a giant duffel bag that's too heavy to carry down the stairs. This time, I will be surrounded by things that are new. I will be excited, nervous, alone. It will look like fake texting to avoid having to stand with nothing but my own awkwardness. Like giant campus maps scrawled across the floor because I haven't memorized street names and can't find my way to class. It will feel like a sharp desk corner, jutting into the space where my belly meets my hip because I can no longer stumble to the bathroom in the dark. It will smell like my roommate's perfume, which slowly encompasses, nauseates, suffocates. I pretend to like it anyways. It will taste like the greasy 2 a.m. pizza shared with my friends. I will have friends. This time, leaving doesn't mean forgetting. Forgetting sounds like when you have to introduce yourself to your grandma, like the rapid writing and rewriting and erasing when you're stuck on an answer on a test. I am leaving, but I'm not forgetting. I am sharing and discovering and exploring. I am loving.
Hi, my name is Lila, and I participated in the songwriting part of the workshop. And this is a song about moving on, but still keeping relationships strong with people that you're close with.
Day after day, time get tomorrow. Now all we ever ask for is one more day. Everything is all wrong when everything you learned for slips away. We'll never get tomorrow. Now all we ever ask for is one more day. Oh, stay blue, even as I'm moving on.
That's the end. Well done.
Thank you so much, girls. That was spectacular. Everyone, that was just such a great presentation. And Scott is available. Oh, Sue, you want to?
I just want to say that, I've been at HP for a very long time, and I think that the creativity that we saw on display at this year's Young Artists and Writers Festival and the previous ones has just reached an all-time high. And I want to thank Scott for his leadership in that area. Also, Jamie Morse and Laura Webster, Molly Cornwell, and Shelley Aker, who were sort of the A-team around planning it. That festival was one of the most amazing, and I think I felt this way last year too, and it's one of those things that just keeps getting better and better. And what the girls are able to create when they're unleashed and we don't have to do it for tomorrow for homework is really absolutely astounding. And the most astonishing thing about the Writers Festival is, and the Young Artists Festival is the way the artists talk about the school when they come here. So you think that the power is in the kids, but when you see these artists who come in and they are absolutely transformed by the hope and the promise that they see in the girls, it is spectacular. So Scott, thank you so much.
There's also art on display that was done in those workshops outside the auditorium. So there's some photography that's not developed yet, but it's beautiful art.
And Scott is open to anything. Do you have any questions you'd like to ask him?
Did they create that solely during the festival, or was it polished after the fact?
That's all
Just
happening
because-
in that day. So they work all day Friday, and we come back Saturday morning. They work from 9 to 11 to sort of talk through how to read it and share it, but it's all self-contained right in there. The thing is, like, and every one of the people who teaches, they say, like, there's no warm-up period. These girls just, like, boom, drop right in and are ready. And the other, John, who teaches the Flash Fiction, says, these girls are relentlessly engaged. Like, they just hang with you for 8 hours without ever drifting or going anywhere. So, yeah, it's amazing right there with the work they can come up with.
What were the classes that the girls were in? Are they all seniors, or are they seniors, juniors, or what's that?
So they're all, so in people reading today, that was 9, 10, 11, 12th grade, all mixed. And all the workshops are just mixed grade levels, which I think is one of the cool parts about it, because we have this community across all the different ages that forms.
Just one suggestion, if this has not been done already. These girls could perform this very same show, it's not really a show, but that they did here. If they could do this for the middle school, for the younger girls, to be
Yeah.
able to see that would just be so empowering.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just
Yeah,
what they
I know, it's like, take that. And that was the funny, like, with them I shot out an email, and I just picked, you could pick any 130 girls in these things. I just thought of these ones because it was a mix. There was some funny, some tender, some vulnerable, and I just shot out an email last week, hey, can you meet me at lunch at the Writing Center? So you're going to do this thing next week, and then that's it. I mean, so again, there's no preparation, no rehearsal, just there. But that would be great, because that is part of the goal, is that you have, this safe space, and these girls are role models for the middle school, so that when they get it, when they're in middle school, and then when they enter in ninth grade, they're just ready to roll. So that's a great.
And so that they're not nervous to jump in, because even my daughter, I try to encourage her to participate. She's in the 6th grade.
Okay.
Oh no, it's for the older girls, Mom. It's not. So if they can see that, I think that would be very helpful.
Yeah, that is. So that's the main thing we work on is that writing isn't some specialized thing that 3 girls just go crazy with. It's just being a fuller version of who you are, right? So, and then the speakers all kind of emphasize that. Ones who come through do assembly, it's just like, this is what it looks like to have your authentic voice and use it fearlessly in the world. So that, I'm doing that for sure. That's a good idea, thank you.
Would you ever open it up to like incorporating a coffee house sort of at the, I don't know when you would fit all that into a weekend or a different weekend, but I feel like we sort of got to see into what you're doing, and it's pretty fantastic. I'm sure more parents would love to see all the pieces, and I love the way you've incorporated the jazz piece this year and bringing in that group in the concert and giving singers an opportunity to participate in a different way than, I don't have a writer daughter, but a daughter who loves to sing, so that sort of drew her into that this year too.
Awesome. Yeah.
But a coffee house would be great for parents.
Yeah, Laura Webster has started doing these little things during the school day, but we do because there's a key part of it if you just stand up there in front of an audience. Like, it's one thing to be in a little room with your peers and do it, but like that feels terrifying to me. Like, standing in front of adults and doing it. And like, if you can do that, and if you can stand in front of a group of people and you can share this thing you've written or created that feels like very true part of who you are, you can do that in ninth grade. Like, where do you go next? So it's cool to see some of these girls who have moved through all 4 years of this in their high school experience, because they're just ready to go places.
Confident and fearless and
yeah.
I want to thank you so much for organizing this, and I want to mention that my son at the US is an 8th grader. He was also invited to come. He has one of those shirts, and he loved it.
Awesome.
It was so beneficial for them as a small group that came. So thank you, my daughter here and my son.
So that was what we did have that middle school version. We had a group of US boys who came over into the park, and that's good to hear that.
Yeah, thank you.
we're feeling many parents will be talking at the dinner table tonight with their daughters. And we so appreciate your willingness to come and share today.
Will you videotaping us today so that other parents can see it?
Yep.
It's
Being live streamed right now.
That's good. And thank you, Kathleen and Rena, for setting this all up and sharing this with parents. And we hope to see you in the end of January for the Heritage Festival and February for our book club. So please, before you leave, you can stop at the Brown Bag and know that when Billy Collins comes to campus in April, he will be able to autograph your books. So, it'll be another great evening together and beautiful new learning commons. And this is great. I mean, it brought tears to my eyes.
They're incredible. I know.
Oh, please, I'm going to get back on his stage date.
to do in her songwriting, I'll go put it up.
Oh yes, I took video of her the last week, and she's in the intro. She's amazing. I really like that song, right? Me too.